Well, this is a new one. So you may know me for my quality MXM content, but now be stunned before me as I present for you my quality literature review. Now, I know what you're thinking. There goes a man of the arts. I do wonder what type of literature he indulges himself with. Well, fear not, compatriot, for I have a vast and diverse collection of literary masterpieces. But today we will be discussing a new book written by someone I happen to know. Now, the reason I've gone off the beaten path with this video is because I told this guy here that if I got to 41 subscribers, I would review his book. So naturally, he went around hard promoting my videos like a sweaty boy, and, well, here I am. Regardless, today I will be giving a basic overview of Duskveil Chronicles, the first book in what I believe is a 3-book series. It also provides background and lore for the setting of an MXM successor game, which is currently in the work. But it's years off though, so don't come in the Discord asking if it's playable yet, because it's not. And it won't be for a long time. So stop asking! Back to the subject at hand. Duskveil Chronicles is a dark fantasy action-adventure novel set in the dank city of Duskveil. It follows Malachi Seraphim, real creative, and friends as they go about the land, killing stuff and advancing the plot. Now, the author swears up and down that this isn't a harem, as most of the top-selling fantasy books on Amazon are for some reason. What the heck, dude? This one has an Audible sample. Let's take a listen. What the fuck? Now, this review is just going to be a spoiler-free overview of the book and my thoughts on it as a whole, because it's way easier to make that. However, I will do a full in-depth review on each chapter with commentary on certain aspects of the book, depending on how this video does. Because there are a few specific scenes that I'd really like to talk about in depth. So this time, let's just say I'll do it as 61 subscribers, because that's going to take a while. Now, the book itself is 31 chapters, and according to the digital version, 5,000 pages. I don't know how long it actually is, because there's no page numbers, but I read it pretty quickly. As far as it's written, it's in the first person and is pretty fast paced. Like, I'm talking about conflicts that are resolved in a single page, which makes for a really quick read and very easy read with little nuance or allegories. We'll probably touch on what the book is actually about before we get too far into this. As stated, the story part follows Malachi, the Lord Simp of the Definitely Not Harem, and friends, doing various tasks to fight against the forces of evil. I will say this here, and you can count this as a spoiler if you're sweaty, but it happens on the 4th page, and it's a big part of the story, so I think you should know about it. Basically, Malachi dies and is resurrected as an angel blessed, which is humans who return into angels by other angels. So he teams up with the angels, other angel blessed, and his harem, which includes a bird by the way, to go around stopping the forces of evil, which is mainly the demons and vampires, for messing up all their cool stuff. Now, there's multiple arcs in the story. Like I said, it's really fast paced, and they tend to happen in a very short time each, but there's 2 main villains that remain throughout the book, one of which is just the villain of the book and another that stays in the series, but I'm going to leave it there for now to avoid any more potential spoilers. So the book is very straightforward. It's just kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because it's good to read, very easy to read, but the lack of description in some areas and the lack of emotion in certain events left me hanging a couple times. Now, the fight scenes in this book is where the fast-paced writing and the removal of unnecessary details make it seem a lot more exciting and easier to depict these fast-paced conflicts. I probably got the clearest mental image of what was going on in the book during the fight scenes than anywhere else. In regard to advancing the plot, the lack of detail in the dialogue itself is probably the biggest weakness. Like, there's a few scenes that had some good dialogue that was typically short. Most of the time the dialogue's really only there to advance the plot, and it's not like super in-depth or emotional. So if you want some tear-jerking speeches, it's not going to be in this book. This leads to an unfortunate lack of character development in a few spots that would have been the perfect opportunity to see what some of these characters were thinking, which is a real shame because some of the characters are actually pretty cool. You can call that untapped potential if you will. Honestly, some of the names of the characters are hella goofy. Like, I can't remember half of them. And there's like these 2 angels with names that are like way too similar, and the third one is like basically the same character but with a different name, because that's just how she is. I don't know. I get them mixed up like all the time. But yeah, when they were thinking up these names, they were just like, we're gonna get funky. Now, of course, with the exception of Dan the Dancing Panini Man, because he is an absolute G and deserves way more important scenes in the book and development altogether. So I'll pour one out for Dan the Man. Overall, I did enjoy reading this book. The world is, though described briefly, does seem to be pretty fleshed out in some essence, with basically no plot holes that I could find. And trust me, I'm pretty good at finding plot holes. Probably because of the undescriptive, almost safe nature of the writing. But like I said, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's easy to read, which is good because I'm stupid. At the end of the day, I give this book an egg out of 10. Would recommend. If you find entertainment in my videos, then you'll probably have a good time with this book. You can just always check out the preview on Amazon, and I'd recommend just getting the digital version since it's cheaper, and the author actually ends up making more money off it since printing costs go to Amazon. And you also don't have to wait for it to be delivered since things take like 2 months to be delivered these days. There'll be a link in the description to the Duskveil Media Twitter and Facebook, and of course the Amazon where you can pick up the book for yourself. Also, if you're one of my small band of loyal MXM slaves, join the Discord if you haven't already, and check out my other quality content. Subscribe for more stuff, and if I do, by all odds, actually hit 61 subscribers, I'll actually get to work making this full in-depth review. So I will see you all when we die.